Next up, we have Mike Orr at Grapevine6.
Morning. I'm going to get going. If you can't read the quote here, I just want to start off with this. The 64% of high net worth individuals expect their future wealth managed relationship to be digital. So that means that financial advisors and wealth managers need to be on social, on web, and on email. Those communications that they do for sales and marketing all need to be digital. The challenge is time. It takes too much time to find something to say, to find relevant content, to know that content is actually compliant, and to know what to do with it. That's what Grapevine6 helps. Through our Publish app, we stream relevant content from over 6,000 publishers to every advisor every morning. Scheduling that content to post to social and web is as simple as touching their phone. As an advisor, when I'm in line waiting for my coffee in the morning, I can schedule my entire week of social media activity. I'm going to go in behind the scenes and tell you a little bit about what just happened there. With each of these posts, our intelligence engine figures out when is the best time to schedule this to go to social media, taking that decision out of the advisor's hands. The application knows what's relevant to the advisor and their personal brand, and how that personal brand is different from every other advisor at that firm and every other firm out there, because simply by connecting my social networks, it's analyzed my digital profile, the content that I've posted in the past, things I've interacted with, to figure out what are the topics that are most relevant to my personal brand. You can see here, I'm interested in these various social media topics. And so the application is constantly giving me the most relevant content that's been published so I can schedule that out to social media and engage my audience. Again, I didn't have to do anything to get started. I just had to log in, and it knows what's relevant to me. I can take control of that and decide if I want to change my brand. It may be the way I'm presenting myself in social and digital isn't the way that I want my brand to be perceived. So the application allows me to configure the interests that are most relevant to my brand. And as I continue to post content, my brand and my graph and my chart will continue to change over time. There's other elements to your personal brand that may be included. So for regional markets, we're from Canada, so we support French. It may be that I want to post relevant content in French. We also support Spanish, and we support German for our friends in Europe. So the application is going to update now and figure out what are the more relevant pieces of content that I should be sharing based on my updated interests. The other important thing to note happening in the background is that each of these pieces of content that I select, they not only need to be relevant and engaging to my audience, but they need to be compliant. They need to make sure, I need to have some assurance that this isn't going to get me in trouble with my company's regulatory policies. So at each point that I schedule an article, our intelligence engine analyzes not only the copy of the post, but also the content of that link, of that article, against the policies of that company to figure out, does this meet my brand standards? Is this safe for my audience? And does it meet all my regulatory requirements? We also take an image of that page as part of the archiving process. So if there's ever a question, the company can go back to figure out what happened and what was shared. We close the loop for the advisor as part of this marketing in their pocket by giving them a report on what are the top articles that I've shared with my audience, which are the most engaging pieces, and also what are the most engaging topics for my network. And that can inform how I write my own pieces when I'm communicating with clients. It can inform the next piece of content that I want to share or I want to write, my next blog post, my next email. As an advisor, I need to have continuous touch points with my network to drive engagement. I need to stay top of mind with not only my clients, but the prospects I've connected with. And that's what this tool helps me do. The other thing I need to do as an advisor and I'm still waiting for my coffee because I've already scheduled 5 pieces of content in about a minute, is that I need to find new people to connect with. And I need to find new people that are not only in my neighborhood, people that I would sell to, but also a timely reason to reach out to them. And then I'll show you here quickly how our prospecting act works. So we mine 40 to 50,000 different pieces of content that are released every day on the web. And we figure out, is there a money in motion event in one of those pieces of content? In this case, it's an executive job change. We've identified not only the type of event, where it took place, so I know which advisors to distribute it to. We identify who the prospects are that are mentioned in that event. And we also identify the companies. If that company has an event that you may want to target a whole bunch of executives there. For the advisor, again, this experience is simple and fast. I simply swipe right to keep the opportunity, swipe left to pass. And that's important because now I'm teaching the application what are the events that are most relevant and most meaningful to me. For each of those events, we give you a process, a playbook that you can follow to target those opportunities. Here's Tyson Tuttle. One of the first steps we'd always recommend is to reach out through LinkedIn. It's a powerful network. You've been growing it. You've been engaging all of your people in your audience. Now you can use those to get introductions to people that have just had a wealth event. And it's as simple as running a search in LinkedIn to find that individual, finding if you have a connection in common, asking them for an introduction. There's Tyson. He just released new earnings. He's a CEO at Silicon Labs. That's probably somebody that I want to at least reach out to and make an introduction and hopefully develop as a prospect. It's important to note that we're not just trying to save time for financial advisors. We're trying to save time for the marketing groups that serve them. So we use all of this content intelligence to serve marketing with streams of content relevant to the topics that they want to be thought leaders in. And so in this application, you can see it's the same idea of finding the most relevant content from the past period, but now I can approve those and add them into a library that makes that available to all the advisors using my application. So I can distribute content. I can bring in my own content. I'm spending a lot of money writing first-party content or paying somebody to do it. This creates a distribution channel to deliver that to all the advisors in my company. I can also track to see what is performing, not just what's most engaging to my advisors, but what's engaging to their audiences. What's resonating with the peer-to-peer networks that I need to talk to. I can tell which type of content is most engaging. I can also tell where it's coming from. And that may be informing to say, I should source more content from this place. We can see what topics are most engaging. Here's there's been 69 posts in this enterprise on wealth management. It's driven 495 clicks on those articles. That's a huge engagement factor. If I'm writing more pieces, authoring more content, curating more content, I want it to be very focused on wealth management. The final thing I want to show you is with these content streams, we can repurpose this content. So it doesn't just have to only go to our app. If marketing is spending time curating content, they want it to go to different places. Maybe their corporate social media properties, their social media management tools. It could be going out to websites. So just as a quick example, on the Rudin Group, we're streaming in content in these different topic areas that April's a thought leader in. And finally, the reason I'm showing the Rudin Group as an example of our technology, as one of the leaders in the space, is that we're just announcing a strategic partnership with the Rudin Group, and would love to talk more with all of you about how that works. And if you've got 20 or 30 seconds, come by our booth, and we'll get you set up to start publishing content and building your personal brands. That's all it takes. At Grapevine6, we're here to save you time, and so I'm going to end early and save you a couple of minutes. Thank you.